From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. Ottawa's unveiled supports for businesses to get them through the United States trade war with Canada. The government's building new flexibility into employment insurance to help businesses hang on to their workers by reducing their work hours. The $5 billion Trade Impact Program will help businesses cope with decreased American sales and get them to reach new global markets. The government's also providing $500 million in business loans at preferred interest rates and another $1 billion for agricultural sector loans. Meanwhile, federal conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says U.S. President Donald Trump needs to end the threat of a trade war.
Stop tariffing our country and stop the monthly melodrama that is hurting our economies on both sides of the border. If you want American workers to have bigger paychecks and lower prices, then let's do more trade, not less.
Poilievre agrees with keeping counter tariffs on American goods until Trump removes all of his tariffs. The Liberal Party will have a new leader, and Canadians will have a new prime minister by the end of the weekend. As Canadian Press reporter Kyle Duggan explains, it's not clear exactly when the new Liberal leader will take up the role of prime minister.
It's actually not necessarily clear at this point if Justin Trudeau will step down as prime minister the next day or the next day. There may be a bit of a lag time here, and I think the main concern is what happens if Donald Trump does something and you need the prime minister who's been dealing with this file for a long time to suddenly react.
Trudeau has said he would not stay on once a new leader is chosen, saying he'd expect a transition to happen reasonably quickly. British Columbia Conservatives leader John Rustad has kicked his Attorney General critic out of caucus over her comments about residential schools. Dallas Brody refused to take down a social media post last month saying 0 child burials had been confirmed at the Kamloops Indian Residential School. The second of 2 hitmen in the 2022 murder of Rapudaman Singh Malik has now been sentenced to life without parole for 20 years. Jose Lopez is set to be eligible for parole in 2042 because of time already served. Service Canada says you will soon get your passport processed in 30 days or it's free. That change is coming this year, along with an online renewal option set to launch in the summer. Actor Gene Hackman died of heart disease and complications of Alzheimer's. Dr. Heather Jarrell also says Hackman's wife died about a week before him from exposure to a disease spread by infected rodent droppings.
The cause of death for Miss Betsy Hackman, aged 65 years, is hantavirus pulmonary syndrome.
Authorities initially ruled out foul play after the couple's bodies were discovered February 26th. Tests for carbon monoxide poisoning were negative. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Ottawa Senators made a big splash ahead of this afternoon's NHL trade deadline. The team acquired center Dylan Cousins, defenseman Dennis Gilbert, and a second-round pick from the Buffalo Sabres. But Senators captain Brady Tkachuk was emotional. The deal means center Josh Norris has been traded away.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. So, yeah, I don't want to... Yeah, it sucks. Losing a guy like that, obviously everybody knows how much it means to me, so... Yeah, next question.
Tonight in the NHL, the league-leading Winnipeg Jets look to make it wins in back-to-back nights as they visit the New Jersey Devils. The Vancouver Canucks host the Minnesota Wild. In professional women's hockey league action, the Ottawa Charge look to give their playoff hopes a boost as they visit the Minnesota Frost. Over in the NBA tonight, the Toronto Raptors are looking for their 3rd win in a row as they host the Utah Jazz. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.